All right, we're going to review factoring before we take our quiz today. There's two things that we need to factor, okay? One of them is going to be harder than the other one. This is pretty easy to do. That's harder. Please remind yourself and your neighbors, how do you factor x squared plus 5x plus 6? Anybody else need a packet? No, I just got those balloons at a signing day because my kids like balloons. Okay. The key to understanding how to factor this is understanding how we multiply this. When multiplying this, we realize that we don't have to do all of the distribution. And we can go straight to our fully distributed form because we know that we'll have x squared plus 5x plus 4x plus 20. And instead of writing this all out, we know we could just take this 4 and this 5 and add them together, and we get 9x. And if we took this 4 and this 5 and we multiply them together, you get 20. So all we need to do, understanding that this can turn into this, is understand we're going to have x plus a number times x plus a number. And we just need to find the two numbers that add to get 5 and multiply to get 6. We get 3 and 2. That's it. Are we comfortable with that? This should be fairly simple. Now, what we're not showing is like how you could check this. And we could check by distributing. Now, one way to distribute, I'll show you, is by taking x and distributing to x plus 2, and then by taking 3 and distributing it to x plus 2. And we have this kind of middle step. And then we can distribute. We get x squared plus 2x plus 3x plus 6. And then I'll get x squared plus 5x plus 6. So I just kind of confirmed that we're correct. This middle step can be used if we go backwards. Now, we are going to factor this. This is harder. Okay, so we're going to spend the rest of our time factoring the harder situations. All right. This is what we're going to do. First, we're going to pretend like we don't see this. And we're going to try to just pretend I have a different question. 2x squared plus 5x. I want you to factor one thing out of these two things. Now, factoring is like the opposite of distribution. So distribution is multiplying. Factoring is dividing. Could you divide both of these terms by one thing?
Yes.
Okay, what could you divide both these terms by? X, good. So we understand that I could pull out x, divide out x, and I get 2x plus 5. Are we comfortable with that? Okay, good. So it is not x squared, because x times 2x gives me 2x squared. That's what I want. Okay? then x times 5 is 5x. Okay, so factoring is the opposite of distribution. Cool. All right, another thing I could say, if you have like negative 3x plus 6, could you factor two things from that? What could you factor? 3 or negative 3. Depends. Maybe I want to factor out 3 and I get negative x plus 2. Why is it 2 and not 3? Because it's 3 times 2 is 6. Or negative 3 to give me positive x and negative 2. If we understand that, this is factoring by greatest common factor, we are going to be in better shape for factoring this. This is what I'm going to tell you to do. It's a little bit different. This one is easy, this is harder, here we go. We are going to take A times C and multiply them together. Why do we multiply them together? It's because when we distribute, if we have something other than just x, it changes everything. If I have 2x instead of just x and x, the 2x is going to manipulate some stuff to get your middle number. The 2x will manipulate this whole number at the end as well. Well, it won't manipulate the number, but it will manipulate this middle number. So we have to take that into account. So this is why we're going to take A and multiply it by C to get 20. And then we're going to have B, which is 1. I'm going to turn this into a negative 10, sorry. Okay, so this is negative 20. I will now find two numbers that multiply to get negative 20 and add to get 1. Who can tell me those two numbers? Mr. Sripala? Negative 5 and 4, almost correct, but not correct. Negative 4 and 5 is correct. Okay, so we figured that negative 4 and 5 are going to work. This is what we're going to do. Take your middle term and split it so that it's got both of those being added together. Negative 4x plus 5x gives us that. Leave everything else alone. Now, my advice to you is if we have one of our numbers being negative and one of our numbers being positive, put the negative number first. You will thank me later. Okay, so we started at this step. We now rewrote it so that we were in this step. Okay, you kind of see how I went here and then I went here. From here to here. Now, our next step is to write it like this. To do that, we are going to treat this as two groups of 2, and we will factor out what we can out of both of those groups. So just like what we did earlier, please factor out what you can from this group and from this group. Ready, set, go. Who can tell me what you can factor out of the first group of 2x squared and negative 4x? 2x is what I like to hear. 2x gets pulled out of this first group. If you did not see that, pull it out now and write what's left over out of the first group. We should have just an x, because 2x times x is 2x squared, and a negative 2, because 2x times negative 2 is negative 4x. Follow me? Okay. What can I factor out of the second group? You see this plus? Move that plus down. 5. Pull 5 out of the second group. Notice, we are now in this step right here, the x times something plus this times this. We are there. Since we are there, we are going backwards with this distribution. A little crowded, sorry. We can go to my final step, which is to say, oh, x plus 2 that's a common factor. You can factor that out. What's left over? X plus 3. So 2x plus 5 is left over after I pull out the x plus negative 2. It is just the opposite of what we do to distribute. It is a little more complicated, though, because we have to remember this whole a times c. We have to rewrite this middle term to go this backwards direction, which is just what we kind of do to distribute. Now, remembering, we do not have to do this for x squared plus 5x plus 6. Just find two numbers that add to get 5 and multiply to get 6. Okay, let's try another one, and we'll do a couple more. We'll set up an easy one and a hard one. Here's an easy one. Here's a hard one. Thank you, Mr. Rosales. Okay, please do the one on the left first. Everybody do the one on the left and write it down and compare with a neighbor. Got it. Very good. Easy one on the left, hard one on the right.
Is it things that add to equal this and then multiply?
So, I want you to do me a favor and figure it out yourself. We're going to do this one first, okay? Because
I just know how to start it. I know how to finish it.
well, I want you to multiply this for me. Distribute that. Perfect. Yes. We will completely get rid of the negative 7x and replace it with the two other numbers. Okay, so you got x squared plus 6x plus 8. How do you get that 6?
Adding 2 and 4.
How do you get that 8?
Multiplying.
Okay. So the middle number, you got to add your two numbers to get it. The last number you got to multiply. Okay, so that's the easy one. Hard one, you multiply this one and this one together first. You then find two numbers that multiply to get that number and add to get the middle number.
Multiply to get this.
Multiply to get negative 30, add to get negative 7. So it's kind of the same thing as like multiply to get 8, add to get 6 here. But we're doing a little bit more because of this 2 is going to change things. Okay, 2 is going to affect things, so I'm taking the 2, multiplying by the negative 15, negative 30. So I want two numbers that multiply to get negative 30 and add to get negative 7. Do we do the one on the left? Did you do the one on the left, Mr. Garcia? What'd you get? Perfect. X minus 7, x plus 3, piece of cake, right? That's the easy one. That's the easy one. The hard one, we're going to take A and multiply it by C. A times C is negative 30. B is negative 7. You're looking for two numbers that multiply to get A times C and add to get negative 7. You will take those two numbers and you will rewrite your middle term using those two numbers. Now make sure you understand this is x's. So it should be blank x plus blank x. Please go ahead and do that step for me, everybody. Yeah, bless you. Oh, no, it doesn't matter at all. You're fine. Yeah. right?
I thought I heard it.
Why would it matter?
It doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't. Mr. Quinn, what do you got? All right, what's your question? Yeah? Okay, good. We'll get there. What's your question?
Whenever you fill in the numbers,
Yep.
do you make those like X,
Yes.
X's?
Yes. All right, Mr. Quinn, what are the two numbers that we are looking for? Negative 10 and 3 is right. Okay, negative 10 and 3, multiply to get negative 30, and add to get negative 7. Ready? Everybody, write out, since I have a positive and a negative, put your negative first. Negative 10, positive 3. You will replace 7x into those two numbers. Oh, sorry. Split this into two groups of 2. Factor out all you can from the first. Factor out all you can from the second. After you do that, if everything works out well, you should have the same thing left over in both of these parentheses. If that happens, we've done this correctly, and we can do the last step of the final factoring.
All of our stuff on
Yes. Yes. This is why this is the harder one, and the other one's the easier. We should get x minus 5 and 2x plus 3. X minus 5 and 2x plus 3. You wrote it differently. Where are you? Right here? So you didn't put in x's. That should be an x, negative 10x, and 3x, right? To rewrite negative 7x, I need x's. Where are you? Here? So you got to have a 3 here. Where's your 3?
I have 5.
Okay. Now, 2x out of the negative 10x, that should be a negative 5. Now we see x minus 5 and x minus 5 in both locations. That's how we got x minus 5 and then 2x plus 3 left over. Okay, I pull, we're going to keep going, a couple more. 2x out, I get x minus or plus negative 5. I have a plus here. I can pull 3 out. I get x plus negative 5. X plus 5 is shared. What's left over is 2x plus 3. This is backwards distributing in all of its glory. Yeah. I just look. 2x squared, negative 10x, what do they share? They both share an x, right? So I know x. And then 2 and 10, they both share 2. Like 5 times 2 is 10, so I can pull 2 out of both of them. Okay? All right, let's do another pair. Easy then, harder. Here's an easy one. Here's a harder one. That's a 20. 3x squared plus 20x minus 7. Please factor both of those. One on the left is easy, the one on the right is hard. Now, what do I do about this x squared minus 16? There's no x's in there. What should I do? What can go in between the x squared and the minus 16? 0. This might help you. Two numbers that multiply to get negative 16 and add to get 0. You can think of those two numbers. Okay. Now the other one, multiply A by C, go through the longer process. Yep.
What was the other stuff? Like not the 18.
This one? What are we stuck by?
21 Not how you get it, but like what number. Yeah, I don't.
21 and 1?
No.
21 minus 21.
Oh, wait, yeah.
21 and 1.
Oh.
And 20. I'll take let's think about it.
But doesn't it have to add up for the big one? Yeah. 21 and
No, it's 21 and negative 1. Oh, wait.
Positive 21, negative 1. But you should put the negative 1 first. Right, that works. I was like thinking because I thought you guys got me. But no. Positive 21 and negative 1. Positive 21 and negative 1. No. What are you doing? I don't do that. Get that stuff out of here. What is that? Do I do that?
No.
No, because you get wrong answers. No, that could work if you know how to do it. But I don't like it. Because, look, you're getting the wrong answer. It's not intuitive. Like, we should just understand distribution. And understand, like, if I have stuff like this and I multiply it together, we should intuitively know that I'm going to get x squared, I'm going to get 3x and 2x that add together to get 5x, and I'm going to get 6. All I need to figure out are the two numbers that add to get 0 and multiply to get negative 16. What are those two numbers? Negative 4 and positive 4. Isn't that simple? That's it. That's it. Now the other one. What? I don't think so.
You don't think so?
This is why I teach it this way. If I thought the other way was easier, I would teach it. Did you get it right?
Nope.
No.
Right.
But,
I know how to do it.
well, but you understand distribution. You understand that this is x squared, 4x, negative 4x, negative 16, right?
Yeah.
You should understand how you can go straight from here to here. So that you're looking for two numbers that are just adding to get 0 and multiplying to get negative 16. All right, ready? I'm going to write 3x squared minus x plus 21x minus 7. Put the negative first. Make it plus a negative 1x, right? Make sure you have x's. Put the negative first. Trust me, it will help you. Put the negative first. Factor out all we can from the first one, just an x. 3x plus negative 1. Factor all we can from 21x minus 7. What can I factor out of 21x minus 7? 7. 7. Because then I get 3x plus negative 1. I have two 3x's plus negative 1s. Can factor that out. What's left over is x plus 7. Nope. Of course, we're just multiplying. When we multiply, order does not matter. What? I don't like subtraction. I'm sorry that I put subtraction. I hate subtraction. Subtraction is the same as add the opposite. What? Right here? Yeah. Well, this is negative 1x. Negative 1 plus 21 is 20. Negative 1 times 21 is negative 21. I have been. What do you mean I haven't? What haven't I been doing? Rewriting this as negative 10x plus 3x? All right, let's do two more. This is it. This is the last two. All right, let's go. Easy one on the left, harder one on the right. Got it? Come on. Two more. We're taking the quiz after this. Nope. 8 times 3 is 24. If you struggle, you can write out all the factors of this C. 18 and 1, 9 and 2, 6 and 3. What are the two, Mr. Irwin?
9 and 2.
9 and 2. Simple, easy, because we know the shortcut. If I'm distributing x plus 9 times x plus 2, I'm going to have x squared. I'm going to have a 2x. I'm going to have a 9x. That's 11x. I'm going to have a 9 times 2. That's an 18. Longer method. The full backwards distributed method. Multiply A times C. Write down B. Rewrite your middle term using the two numbers that multiply to get negative 6 and add to get negative 5. If you have a negative, put it first. If you have two negatives, doesn't matter. Yeah. What are the two numbers?
What?
What are the two numbers?
5 minus 5.
No. Nope. 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 Minus 5 and 1 do not multiply to get minus 6. What are the numbers? Nope. Yes. Negative 6 and 1. Put the -6 first, put the 1 second. It's a tricky one. 6s and 5s, sometimes it could be 2, 3, sometimes it could be 6 and 1. You got to take care of the signs. Then, 2 groups of 2. Factor out all you can from the first one. And now the second one we'll have to talk about. Because so -2 times -3 is +6. I need to get -6. What do you got? What's the question? Who's going to ask the question first? Yes, I can.
Are there going to be any no factors on the quiz?
No. What can you always pull out of anything without changing it? A 1. Put a 1 right here, and you're okay. We're okay. Okay? Does not matter which order we put this in, whether it's the 2x plus 1 first or the x plus -3 first. All right, pass up your homework. Let's take our quiz.